Here's your host, Alex Garrett.
And welcome inside to Alex Garrett Podcasting. Well, today is the first day of a plan called the Key to NYC. Now, I thought the Key to NYC was won by winning a World Series, a Super Bowl, an NBA championship, but it was supposed to open up things. That's the whole point. When you get a key to New York City, you open up your entire city. The city is open to you. But now we're saying that the key to NYC is only open if you're vaccinated. And believe me, I do believe in the vaccine. I do believe on Alex Garrett Podcasting that 1 in 500 cases of COVID in the vaccinated prove that vaccines work. But what I saw today in New York City disheartened me again. What I first saw was the McDonald's by my office couldn't even have the staff to make sure the customers were vaccinated. So they had to shut down indoor dining again. And if you think that's only one place, you're going to see other places that are so understaffed, they cannot even process who's vaxxed, who's not vaxxed, causing the indoor portion of a restaurant to be closed. So if you have the staff to do that, God bless you, because you're one of the few, I believe. So that's number one. That scene made me feel like we were back in 2020 all over again. I was also told in a local area to mask up. And I'm vaccinated. And I know it's indoors. But now you're restricting the vaccinated too. I see it with my own eyes. You're telling those who are even vaccinated or anybody to mask up. So in reality, if they're requiring us to mask up again, we are being restricted. Everyone is being restricted. And I think we're all tired of the restrictions. So it's funny to me that they would label this the key to New York City. Because in many ways, it's more of a key to lock us down again than it is to open us up again. And right now, where we are in this pandemic and where we've seen the economic turmoil, closing us back down, restricting of any kind, is not the answer. I don't understand how people who are vaccinated can get this. It doesn't make sense to me. But I will say, the fact that you won't get entirely sick, and the fact that I believe 1 in 500 unvaccinated get it, that's according to the New York Times, proves you need to be vaccinated. But this mandate is discriminatory against those who are skeptical. And so this is why the portion of the New York City vaccination proof for indoor activities guide is kind of comical. It says here, this requirement may not be used as an excuse for business to discriminate against anyone who has valid vaccination proof. Okay, but if you don't have proof, if you're not vaccinated, you're discriminated. That's the point here. If you are not vaccinated, you are being discriminated. You're being told not to go in, and that's acceptable discrimination. So basically what the city of New York is saying is there is acceptable discrimination. That if you're vaccinated and you have proof, you cannot be denied. But if you don't have vaccine, we're going to ask you to leave. That, to them, is acceptable discrimination. And if you ever tell anybody to leave an establishment because of a certain thing, that's restrictive. That's not a key to anything. And to say that the vaccinated deserve a key more than the unvaccinated, at this point feels wrong. Because if we're vaccinated, we are protected. If there are some that do not believe that the vaccine is going to be beneficial, if they're not being told the right way about the vaccine, you're going to have skeptics. You're going to have major skeptics. What I'm very curious about is how this is a key to New York City. How this is a key to everyone in New York City. Because the key to NYC makes it feel like it's open to everybody, as long as you get a vaccine, as long as you comply. Now, surely, here in the city of New York, they know that people will comply, right? They know that this is going to fly over perfectly well. Executive Order number 228 will fly over perfectly well with the average New Yorker that's not vaccinated, right? Well, turns out they know damn well that this vaccine requirement is going to be getting pushed back. So much so, the key to New York City plan includes conflict resolution for businesses and workers. When someone is pushing back on this, they say, remember SPED, S-P-E-D. Slow down. Check your body's reactions. Notice your own flushed cheeks, raised heartbeat, clenched fist or jaw or headache. Take deep breaths. Ground yourself. Empathize. Drink water. Get help. Get help if you are being pushed back on. Remember that slowing down helps you respond rather than react. Demonstrate listening and understanding. Supposedly, the city of New York wants you to say, I hear this is a real inconvenience for you this evening. You are a regular and valued customer, and we will do whatever we can to make sure you feel welcome here. Except you're not going to because the city of New York is telling you don't let them in. So you could be there for 20 plus years, be shut out, and all of a sudden, you're going to lose that customer. Thank you, New York City business. Thank you, City of New York. Thank you, Mayor de Blasio, for causing regulars to not patronize a restaurant if they're not vaccinated. You're really doing well for the restaurant and the customer. Empathize. There have been many changes over the last year, and I know it's difficult. I do understand your disappointment. I'm sorry that this is frustrating. Can you imagine telling that to a New Yorker? I'm sorry that this is frustrating. It's been a difficult year. Who are you, Andrew Cuomo? He said that almost every day last year, and now he's gone. Look, I hope maybe a lawsuit here against this mandate will work out. I had originally said it was the mandate, not non-mandate mandate. They hadn't mandated anything yet. Now we're there. Now we're seeing 100 plus employees have to, companies with 100 plus employees have to mandate vaccination. And by the way, looks like there are staffers of the House that's exempt from this in the White House mandate. Funny how that works. Funny how that works. Because while we're telling New Yorkers they have to be vaccinated, there's one big group that our taxpaying dollars funds that they can do without being vaccinated. They can be exempt from vaccination. Let me slow down. All right? Let me slow down and help me respond rather than react to this. But how can you not be mad at this? Do you know there's a group exempt from getting vaccinated? Congress. Do you know that Congress can make its own rules about vaccine requirements? And do you also know Speaker Pelosi said in April there would be no vaccine requirement for members of Congress and their staff? How is this not infuriating to anybody? How is it not infuriating that New Yorkers, regular New Yorkers, must be vaccinated if they want to go to their local restaurant, a local play, and whatnot, and even basketball games now, indoors. And then be told, we're sorry. We understand your disappointment. But does Nancy Pelosi understand the disappointment? No, because she doesn't go along with it. She's being above the law here. Or, yeah, above the law. It's a federal mandate, so that's a law. The 100-plus employee and federal workers. Not for Congress. Where can we draw the line on this hypocrisy? Honestly, where? Mayor de Blasio? Governor Hochul? President Biden? Speaker Pelosi? Where can we draw the line and say hypocrisy will not work this time? Where can we win a lawsuit against this key to NYC when even Congress doesn't have to do a thing? Lift a finger to be vaccinated. Maybe that'll change, but it doesn't look like it's going to change anytime soon. Oh, this is great. They have a training video for the conflict resolution at the New York City Center for Creative Conflict Resolution. I don't know, but when Congress doesn't have to get the vaccine, but local New Yorkers and regulars could be excluded, something's wrong here. And by the way, speaking of that, you know our taxpaying dollars, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, are you ready to have your mind blown with this? Because I saw this today and I said, are you kidding me? According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, let me get my papers right here. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, we spent a total of $17,211.12 on taxes, only spending $16,839.89 on food, clothing, healthcare, and entertainment combined, according to CNS and the Bureau of Labor, pointing out the Bureau of Labor Statistics. We spent an average of $8,811 in federal income taxes, getting only $1,911 back, $1,911 back in stimulus payments. So, we're going to now allow Congress to be exempt, give them our tax dollars, give our city, we actually spent in local taxes $2,492.71 in state and local income taxes. So basically, New Yorkers invested in a resigned Governor Cuomo, and we're investing in the key to NYC, which is quite restrictive. Irony, contradicting its actual name of the initiative. So, what do we do about that? We can scream and yell on a podcast or radio or wherever, but legally, that's the way to go about this. Continue to fight with lawsuits. That's the biggest weapon, I think, that businesses have here. That places like the New York City Hospitality Alliance and others have in the city to fight back. Because remember, when Cuomo was threatened with lawsuit, he actually started rolling back a lot of the different restrictions. So maybe we have to do that with de Blasio now. And the kicker to me, it's a 6-page executive order. And I just had to read through it a little bit. Because they were so excited. See, the key to NYC executive order right here. Well, I did. And there were a couple things that stood out to me from the bat. They actually cited Yale. I've got to get that page for you here. They cited Yale as a resource for this. The city believes that there's been a number of prevented cases, hospitalizations, and deaths has risen. And that 98% of hospitalization and death from COVID-19 infection involved were not fully vaccinated. So the campaign worked for 57% residents. Also, you only need one dose of this to be allowed in. What happened to the whole fully vaccinated situation? But seriously, if Congress doesn't have to be vaccinated, the average American person, average American citizen that pays the Congress people through taxes should not be required at all to get the vaccine. Plain and simple, case closed. I'm no Perry Mason, but I do know that this case should be closed. That this should be a no-brainer. That if Congress doesn't have to be getting anything, the average American citizen who pays into Congress and the salaries and the treasury of the Congress shouldn't be required. It's hypocrisy. And here in the city, the key to NYC should be given to everyone. Once again. Give us our keys back, Mr. Mayor, the local business owner, the people. Give us our keys back. Because there's going to be unrest, I hate to say it, if they don't get their keys back. And I hope there's more legal unrest than anything else. I'm Alex Garrett. Alex Garrett Podcasting here. Key to NYC. Let's make it less restrictive, and let's truly open up New York City again. Once and for all. Signed, a lifelong New Yorker.